Hello everyone, welcome to Sangeeta Sirsat channel. In last video we have seen the evolution of programming. That is how we have moved from machine language code to assembly language and finally to high level language and its needs and requirements. So in today's video we will study about the structure of procedure oriented programming and object oriented programming. So let's get started. So on the right hand side you can see the structure of procedure oriented programming is we have a main program which has number of functions in it. Okay. So in procedure oriented programming the main focus, or you can say the emphasis, is given on algorithms rather than on data, which means we are focusing more on the procedure of the program, the sequence of the program, the step-by-step execution of the program, rather than giving importance to data. As because the name only indicates procedural programming, so I need to follow a particular procedure in this programming language. And this POP is divided into small functions. Means if we have a complex program which involves repetitive tasks, for example I need to do addition of numbers 5-6 times or more than that. So what I will do, instead of writing the same code again and again, we can have a function which adds two number and then I can call that particular function 5 times, 6 times or more than that. So large programs are divided into smaller programs known as function to reduce the complexity of the program. And most of the functions shares global data. So what is global data? Global data is the data which is accessible to any function in a program. We have local data and global data. Local data is function specific. Global data is not function specific. Global. Suppose if I have global variable which I have declared in function 1, global. So the same variable we can use in function 2, function 3, function 4, function 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. Means all the functions will share the same global data. Sharing is taking place. So that's why most of the function shares global data in POP. So when we talk about local data, the local data is function specific. Suppose in first function I want to add two numbers. I have declared and I am adding. So this A and B local variables, local variables could be used outside that particular function. A and B which we declared as because these are local variables, specific variables which we have defined in function 1 and it will be used in function 1 only, not outside the function. So if I want to use variables outside the function, I need to declare it as global variable. So global data is shared in all the functions. So when we talk about global data and the sharing of global data, so we can say the data moves freely around one system from one program, from one function to another function. So the data is traveling from one function to another function. So we can say function can transform the data. So when I'm talking about transforming, that means it is affecting the integrity of the data. As because the data is global data, it is all the functions in a program. That means it is open to all. When it is open to all, a function can change the value of the global data. So that's why we say function transform data from one form to another form. Take an example. I have operation on the variable. Global data, it will be shared with second function as well. Second function, I am performing suppose some sort of operation, suppose subtraction. The value of global data is changed to 15 minus suppose 5. So the value is now 10. As because the data is global, being shared to all the functions of a program, my data is getting changed. This here is 15, this is 10. It's because we have declared the variable a as global, data value getting changed from moving from one function to another function. Likewise, if I am using this a for some operation, so now the value of a has changed to 5. So when it is global data being shared by all the functions of a program, the integrity of data is not maintained. The value of the data will get transformed as because the global data is moving from one function to another function. Now, POP employs top-down approach. So what is the meaning of this top-down approach? When we talk about procedure-oriented programming, we need to follow some set of sequence. We need to follow some sequence of steps to reach to the output. Starting from the very first point to taking input from a user, doing the processing and getting the output, right? So all this is nothing but the sequential steps. So that design is called as top-down design approach. Next we will see the limitation of procedural programming. So in the last slide we have discussed about the global data. So the main limitation of procedure oriented programming is the global data is shared among all the functions. I have some variable globally declared. Function 1, function 2, function 3, function 4. They are able to get the access to that particular global data, which is hampering the data integrity. I am not getting the original data. The data is getting changed when the data is traveling from one function to another function. That is one of the limitation of procedure oriented programming. And POP, large programs are very difficult to identify which data is being used by which function. As because I'm using data, so I cannot make out which function is using which data. If it is a very large program, I cannot figure out the error which function is using that particular global data. So that becomes very tedious and the complexity increases. And the another drawback of procedure oriented programming is it does not model real world problems very well. Real world problems in the sense means if I want to build an application, student management system, so any sort of this real world application in which if we use procedure oriented programming, it becomes very tedious as because POP is procedure oriented. I need to follow some set of sequence, and we cannot add new data or new function in between the lines of code as because I'm following some sequence. As because I'm following this sequence, new data cannot be easily added in procedure oriented programming. So this were the limitations of procedure oriented programming. Now we'll move to next slide. So now to overcome the disadvantage of POP, here we came up with OOP, that is object oriented programming. So as you can see in this image, object oriented programming has all the features which are mentioned here: abstraction, classes, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, objects, methods, data, and many more. So the object oriented programming gives us all these features. So that's why we have moved from procedure oriented programming, which is a sequence based programming language. We have moved from POP to OOP with all these features. Next is structure of object oriented programming. So the main aim of object oriented programming is to bind the data and the function together so that the function can operate on that particular data and no other part of code can access this data except that function. So in this, data integrity is not hampered. In this image you can see classes, objects, methods, and attributes. So when we talk about object oriented programming, the entire programming just revolves around object. So for creating object, we need a class. So that is what it means, class. So when we will use class, we need to create object. As because we need class to create object. And after creating object, we need to call some methods or you can say functions of a class. So that is why it is mandatory to have a class. With the help of class, I can create object, and with the help of object, call the methods of the class. And each object will have its own attributes, the state of an object, which represents the state of an object. So that is what the structure of object oriented programming, which involves classes, objects, methods, and attributes. So everything is so interconnected. If we don't have a class, we cannot create an object. If we cannot create an object, we cannot call the methods or functions of the class. If we cannot call the methods and functions of the class, we cannot access the attributes of this class. So this is all connected. So in POP, we need everything: classes, object, methods, and attributes. Now in this image, you can see when we talk about the main aim of OOP to bind the data and function together. So by binding the data and function together, we are keeping the data in the original format. And if the second function want to access this data, it has to be through that particular function of the class. If a particular function is from outside the class, we cannot directly access the data which is inside the class. So through this data flow, we can say the data integrity in OOP is maintained. One function can access the data of its own class with the help of its own function. A class will have data, a class will have a function. With the help of class, we will create object. With the help of object, we will access the data of functions which are there inside the class. If some functions are there outside the class, so directly we cannot access the data. We have some set of restrictions in OOP. In OOP, we don't share global data. As because if I share global data, my data integrity gets affected. So that is the main advantage of OOP is data integrity is not hampered. Now we will see the difference between OOP and POP. So the basic difference we can say the POP is procedure oriented programming, OOP is object oriented programming. POP is top down approach as because we need to follow set of sequence starting from the very first point to the last point. OOP is bottom up approach. POP emphasis on procedure, OOP emphasis on data. P largest programs are divided into smaller programs known as functions. OOP programs are divided into objects as because with the help of object we access the data from function 1 to function 2, but the functions should be of its own class. In POP, most of the data is shared, data is not hidden and can be accessed by external functions. In OOP, data is hidden and cannot be accessed by external functions. Data is hidden in the sense we have some access specifiers also in OOP, like private access specifiers. So if I am declaring some data in private access specifier, so the class can access the private data only inside the class and not outside the class. New data cannot be easily created or added whenever is required in POP. That is the limitation of POP. As because we need to follow some certain sequence, we cannot add any new feature in between and hamper the sequence of the procedure oriented programming. But that is not the case in OOP. In OOP, new data and function can be easily created whenever I need it. Example of POP is C, Fortran, COBOL. Example of OOP is C++, Java and Python. Thank you.